Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How we doing? How we feeling? It is officially hump day. Let's hope we don't have all the technical difficulties that we had on Monday's stream. I tried to make sure I went and checked everything last night and this morning. So just pray for me. Just pray for me. All right, let's get into it. Go ahead and jump on over to this economic calendar. See what we got going on today. Very interesting in the market this morning, looking at the price action and the structure, but let's look at the calendar first. It is a FOMC day, but before that, we already had the 8:30 building permits. 10:30 we have crude oil inventories, and then at 1400, 2 p.m. Eastern for civilian time, we got the FOMC economic projections, the FOMC statement, Fed interest rate decision, and at 14:30 the FOMC press conference. All right, so the Fed is busy today, this afternoon. Tomorrow we have initial jobless claims in the Philadelphia Fed manufacturing, and then Friday we don't have anything scheduled that's significant. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this power range. Turn this other music down that's in my ear a little too strong. All right, so for the NQ future sessions power range today, we got a high of 13,174 with a low of 13,150,175. The sentiment at the time of this posting was short, extremely short, down with negative 1.09% with a volume of 80K and an ATR of 335.48. And let's look here first. All right, so you can see we had a slight sell-off at the open, just hung around a minute into like the Euro session, and then around 6:30 after 7, we had a strong sell-off. So didn't give a lot of effort into looking into what excuse they have for the sell-off, but looking at a daily, it does make technical sense. We got this little, you can see we got some selling pressure coming in with yesterday's daily candle. It's not really, it's kind of at an area of resistance right here at this somewhat, it's kind of a, I want to call it a pivot point. This is a pivot, but it's more of a range. But technically, the point is technically the sell-off makes sense. Just looking at it from a technical perspective, it's always interesting to see what kind of excuses they have for what we can see technically. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the rest of the market. Since we're here already, this is ES. I may end up trading ES again. I like how it responds to my levels, to the power range levels. I just have to figure out, my layout. I have to change my layout. Let's see. So pretty much the same thing as NQ. Been hanging around, just chopping around after 8. Volume drops off significantly around 940, 941 in that range. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's go ahead and check out the gold. We're not going to really cover the other indexes or indices because they're pretty much the same. I may glance at them. So gold, what I've been noticing lately has, in a sense, been kind of following the rest of the market, like the indices, and in terms of like we had the same sell-off after 6:30, but we were kind of bullish overnight. Very choppy. It's extremely choppy. Gold does have a tendency to be choppy, but sometimes it, not as much as the one we're going to look at next. Just throw these power range lines on here. I do like the response to the levels there also. Oops, let's go to Crude. Also, with gold, I forgot to mention, looking at the daily, you have to keep in mind that overall, the GC is bearish. What I'm doing here. All right, so this is crude oil. All right, still working on a little bit of retracement. So it's just been selling off pretty smoothly overnight. Chopped around a little bit before they took it higher to sell it off. Built the position for the short. And all this is profit taking. For the short position that they built overnight. Okay, moving on over to the euro. Looks like the euro so far has been pretty back and forth the entire session. Found this range and it's been trading pretty consistently within that range. So if I was trading this at E6 or 6E, depending on what platform you're looking at, honestly, you could just pick a direction and play the edges. If I was trying to play, if I was taking any trades on this. So usually when we have this kind of price action like this, I like to play the edges, or maybe if we got good structure in the 50% of the range, then I'll look for opportunities there as well. But I try to stay out of all this noise here, I just be patient and I'll wait for something at the edge of the range. I'm gonna glance at the other indices real quick. Looking at the Russell. Hey, this has been short pretty much all night. Am I on? Yes, I am. Not used to seeing all of these gaps here for the index futures. But, okay, Russell's kind of doing its own thing, but it's pretty much been slowly trading lower, but really it's neutral. It's just trading sideways. And on over to the Dow is definitely the Dow has just been on its own sheet of music for a while. YM doesn't care anything about what the rest of the market is doing. Extremely choppy though. But it's still, I do like the response, how it's responding to the power range levels as well. All right, let me go ahead and get this pre-market snapshot in. Actually, I got up early today, so I was able to give a lot of attention to my daily, pre-market routine, the things that I like to do every day. I was able to take my time with everything this morning. It's good to get up early sometimes. Thanks to the missus. Alright. See if my music wanna. Alright, let's see what this does. Had about 3 minutes to the bell. Oh, another thing that I meant to mention on Monday, but I had way too many distractions. Just wanted to give an update on what. Wait, gotta turn that off over there. Leeloo put out, sent out an email over the weekend that they're changing their rates, or they're changing how they charge for their data. So, before and up until April 1st, there's a lot of changes I've noticed with brokers that's happened on April 1st. It's very interesting. But with Leeloo, when you pass the evaluation phase, or and you go into the performance account, what they used to do, or what they are doing up until April 1, is that first month you get 50% off your data fees, right? But they're changing that, and now it's going to be like there's not going to be any discount for that first month anymore. But what they're saying is that compared to their competition, that their fees are still extremely low. I don't know personally, because it's the only funded account that I've actually made it through the evaluation phase of it. But they're saying that their fees are much lower than their competition, which they charge $88 a month for their fees, which is just thinking about the cost of everything in terms of trading, that is a low amount, in my personal opinion, to be charging for fees, or to be charging for data. Another interesting thing in terms of data is CQG seems to be having problems. I haven't been trading in my regular account that much, so I haven't noticed any problems personally, but I've been hearing a lot about CQG lately. And then this whole thing with Sierra Chart, how they're changing everything. I'm gonna have to figure out if I'm gonna make what I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna switch to another data source, if I'm gonna, I don't know. I figure it out, and then, of course, whatever I do, I will update everything on the channel. And we're off. Now, sometimes I hear the bell. I don't have. Well, maybe that's Tasty Works, because I do have Tasty Works open this morning. Not gonna lie, I expect a little more energy from the market, or during the open. Seems a little light, a little sluggish. Trying to see if if the music is actually going through. Let me know if you can hear the music. I want to make sure everything is working correctly. So very low energy at the open. I see volume coming in. It's just like maybe we're battling. Not much excited. It was a very uneventful open.
Order submitted.
Still not excited. Definitely with this price action, I'm not excited to. Well, I'm not looking to take any breakouts. Lately, we haven't been seeing a whole lot of follow through. Except yesterday. Yesterday wasn't bad, but it was still kind of choppy. I didn't catch any trades yesterday. I should have. Well, I had an order that I placed. I had an order open, but price, for a pullback, and it turned around right before it triggered me in the trade. So it was like I was maybe like 2 to 3 ticks off, and I didn't want to chase it, so I just had to let that one go. I did feel some type of way about that, but it is what it is. It's part of the game. And so we're seeing some. I got this. This is a daily key level. Based from my TPO chart. So we are seeing some support down there. We're seeing some buyers come in at that level. With this price action, we could just be position building. As a market maker would say, picking up some inventory to take the price higher and selling to supply. still working on, fully grasping the concept of that. Just gonna have to sit back and be patient. Let the price action tell me how aggressive I want to play this. As usual, I'm always looking for a pullback. The Sierra chart is my favorite platform, Carson. Let's see, I've used Thinkorswim. I used a horrible platform by the name of Generic Trader. That was enough about that. Yeah, so Thinkorswim, Generic Trader, multi-charts, Ninja Trader, TradingView, MT, was that MetaTrader, whatever version. I've used several platforms, but by far Sierra chart is my favorite. I've had less problems with it, and it has all the features that I need in just one platform. And the best part is I can trade from it the way that I want to. Took you a while to get used to it. I can't get used to Sierra chart after moving from Ninja Trader 8. They didn't really. Let me see. I can't remember. I've been using it for a while, so I got to remember the beginning phase of it. But I don't think it took me a whole lot of time to get used to. But at the time, I had a whole lot of time to just focus on it and figure everything out. And I'm also kind of a fast learner as well. I mean, that is a thing. So maybe I had to mess around with it for like a week to get it to how I want it at that time. But it wasn't, I didn't find that much. I can't remember finding a whole lot of issues with, just getting used to the platform itself. So we have some pullback coming in. I still don't want to be too aggressive. But we do have volume at 965. Kind of falls off until 981. And we got structure there at 981 as well. just because I'm expecting a lot of, mostly buying to happen in this location. I'm expecting buyers to be sitting here at this location. I don't want to be super aggressive. My strategy is short bias at this point. All right, so I according to my strategy, I have to trade with the strength of the trend. Well, with the trend, and the trend is bearish. So staying true to that, I don't want to be super aggressive, and at this level, since I am expecting some buyers to be sitting here. And we are kind of seeing that in the price action. Of course, we have no idea how far they're going to take the price, so I just got to stick to what the strategy is designed to do. Again, while I do have my screen on Sierra chart, this is not where I'm making my Leeloo trades, of course. So this is in still mode, but I'm making the trades in multi-charts for Leeloo. So that's one interesting thing about Sierra is they don't have a lot of patience for trying to figure out issues with with other vendors. Like, I've been reading through their forums a lot lately and their documentation, and they'll try to figure if there's a problem with another vendor, such as the rhythmic data. They'll try to figure it out for a little bit, but then they'll get to a point where they just don't want to deal with it. Their engineers to get to a point where they just don't want to deal with it anymore. So they'll be like, screw it. We're not interested in trying to figure this problem out anymore. So you have these other options, use those options or whatever. And for that kind of stuff, it's not that big of a deal because their platform is so. Their engineers spend their time on what's actually important. In terms of stability, giving you all the features that you need without, having a lot of issues. Like, I've had problems with multi-charts. I've had a lot of problems with NinjaTrader that I've never had with Sierra chart. And this is not in any way sponsored by Sierra chart. I'm just answering the question kind of in a whole lot of detail. It would be nice to be able to be affiliated with Sierra chart in some kind of way, but I'm not, so I don't even think they even have an affiliate program. All right, so we got point of control. Just adjust it, just move to, what is this? 990, I call it 995. And it feels like my heat is on because it got hot all of a sudden. Go ahead and turn that off. And this weather's been all over the place here. So in hindsight, I was kind of looking at this based off the volume profile. We got this. You can see this visually, a lot of volume just spiked right here, kind of where price turned around, but it's not really. That's just one thing out of a. It's too noisy in this level in this area, so I decided not to take that. I got my order a little bit higher. I just remember I forgot some parts of my checklist, my daily reminders. So I put it in my checklist to remind myself what the goals are, what the vision should be, so that every time before I trade, I gotta make sure I remind myself that I gotta actually physically react to it or interact with it by checking it off. Change over the monitors so I can record if I get filled and triggered into this trade.
Position opened. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Remember to grab the screenshot. Put the rest of the details in there later. I do kind of expect it to trade back into the -5 level. It's from the buying that came in down here at this key level. Those that move the markets, I saw this as them, building a position to bring it higher. So I feel that's what we're doing now.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
use price action to determine how patient I want to be with this position. As well as how we respond to the levels. Go check out ES real quick. I gotta get this out the way.
Target filled. Position closed.
So wasn't a fan of the price action there, so I went ahead and just killed it while it was green, and I can just reassess if I wanted to get back into another one. But I did look at ES, and I like the way it's responding to my levels. So I think over this weekend I'm gonna figure out, how I want to start trading ES again. Of course, when I do something different, I like to go into like a testing phase. So I will test it out first, and then if I do that successfully, then I'll make it a live thing. So took a scalp on that one. It's the way that we respond, that price is responding to the structure and to the levels and how we're trading right now. I don't want to play around with this market, how choppy it's been. And the goal is to slowly build cushion in this performance account. Those small numbers do add up. That's a lesson that I got from pretty much like the end of January and through February. That those small numbers add up. So I'm not gonna play around too much with a position that doesn't play out exactly the way that I want it to. So I let it hit the first target, and then I just closed the rest of it based off of price action and how we were responding to the structure and the levels. Just a small scalp. So right now it looks like we're trying to create a higher low. I'll be watching to see if we break here or if it just hangs around, or if we trade back below this VPOC. In hindsight, I got this level here. Again, this is based off my market profile, or the TPO chart. I could have loaded in right there. I felt like that was too close to my initial entry, so that's why I didn't take it. I didn't load in there. I had it a little bit higher, because this is not an exact science. This is just, I look at these levels as ranges. But in hindsight, of course, hindsight is 2020. I could have actually had my order right there, and that would have gave me a bigger position. So just to talk about the idea behind the position building, my first entry is always just a small portion, just a fraction of the total size that I want to be into the position. This is how I've adjusted my strategy over time, and as it if it trades perfectly off my level, then I just take that at a fraction of the position size. But I try to scale in to build the position for the full size as it kind of trades against me, and then I just play the structure and the trend for my stop losses. So what I had over in Sierra chart ended up in a scalp as well. So good decision I got confirmation now that was a good decision to go ahead and kill that trade. There's no reason to be hanging around in the red in the trade when you got an opportunity to go ahead and take profit. Another valuable lesson that I learned. You can always reassess and get back in at a later time. Or you can take your profit and be done for the day. All of that is better than taking a loss when you had a chance to take a profit. Without, just trading with emotions. It's not an emotional thing. So if you're doing it, if you're just taking small profits just because you're getting emotional, that's not, it's not the way that you want to do it, in my personal opinion. And if you can find the reason to exit your trade early, based off of other things outside of your emotions, then I don't see anything wrong with that. And experience will tell you, when to. It'll help you with that judgment. When to kill the trade early, or when to, just hold it and be a little bit more patient. That is such a heavy lesson, so true. Finally started to put that into my sequence. Yep. For sure, a heavy lesson. I went back and looked at my numbers and everything, so I'm through TraderView, and if I would have, learned that lesson sooner, it would have saved me a lot of, discomfort. It's definitely a valuable lesson to learn. That didn't happen as smoothly as I wanted it to. Looking at this price action, that may be my only trade for the day. But we are doing what I expected. We are trading back to that -5. Looks like we're hitting our heads on the ceiling up there. A little bit of a battle going on. Switch my view back to Sierra. All right, so what the information, I've been gaining a lot of information about what a former market maker, how they see the market and price action and all that stuff. So this does looks like this is more market maker activity instead of like institutions. Like before, how I mentioned, like this looked like we were just building a position down here just to take it up higher and then sell what we picked up down here up here, right? And so now we're just unloading this stuff and building it up for our next move. It made an attempt to, so I also with the last couple of candles, we made an attempt to trade higher than this inside candle right here. That failed, and now we're trading below the low of that candle. So I said all that to say, technically, I can see, what happened there, and it does make sense from a technical level. I still don't like to take what I would call this a takeout trade. I'm not a fan of that right now. I still want my pullbacks. I want to enter in on the pullbacks aggressively and not, wait for quote unquote confirmation. Throughout my time as, my trading career, that has worked out the best for me. Being, more aggressive with my entries than waiting for what seems to be confirmation. We're just chopping our way around right now. This is a good market to take some scalps in. And for sure, we are close to my no trade window time, the end of my trade window. So that for sure will be my only trade of the day. I can go ahead and log that in the journal. Still got some resistance at the -5. Just chopping our way higher very slowly. And I would definitely want to be, if I was, still trading it, I would want to be in and out of my trades. I'm not trying to look for any home runs. It's a bunch of base hits. Let's see if we take out this green candle here. See if the shorts that happened at that came in at the -5 level, see how far they can take us. Also, this I just remembered, this is kind of typical price action for the morning session of a Fed day. There's a lot of events going on this afternoon. I wish I could trade it. But since they've been like kind of, it used to be to where the Fed wouldn't, every once in a while they would come out and, say something or whatever. But they've been kind of doing it on schedule now. So I think that's like lately we haven't been seeing the momentum that we usually see during FOMC and, Fed events. So that could be, someone else mentioned this, or someone else mentioned this yesterday. It could be why, because they're kind of doing it on schedule. Like they're almost at least once a month, there's some sort of Fed event going on. So, people are just getting used to it now, and it's not having a big impact on the market. But the morning sessions are still usually, kind of choppy like this on those days. And not a lot of energy. We may have like one or two moves, like kind of how we saw down here, where they built this position and took it higher, and now we're just chopping around. Since I've been trading, this is the kind of price action that I'm used to seeing on a Fed day. Just vibing out to my track right now. Even the volume has slowed down a lot. So I don't think it's gonna get any more interesting anytime soon. Just looking at the energy of the market right now. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and close up the shop for today. I appreciate everybody for coming through, trading with me, hanging out with me, and all your your input. Hope y'all have a good rest of the day, good rest of the week, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Trade it easy.